Well, small businesses have been badly hurt during this pandemic. At least 2,800 small businesses closed permanently between March 1st and July 10th. That's including nearly 1,300 restaurants. That's all according to a report released last month by Yelp and the New York City Comptroller's Office. But it has been particularly hard for Black-owned businesses. They are twice as likely to close compared to their white counterparts. So for more on this, we're joined now by Jonnel, Doris, NYC Department of Small Businesses Services Commissioner. Thanks for joining us today, Commissioner. I read some of those stats. Obviously, just now, 2,800 businesses permanently closing, at least in the city. I'm wondering anecdotally as well what you are seeing and how badly the pandemic has been hurting businesses here in New York City.
Well, thanks, Kristin, for having me. The health crisis brought on this economic crisis, at least at the stages it is in our small business community. It has been tough for our small businesses to survive. A lot of our small businesses have reached out for support, as you know, from our federal government, the PPP program and other places, but have not yet received really the level that they've asked for, and particularly in our minority and women-owned businesses, for instance, are just receiving about 12% of the max that they've asked for. So you have all these challenges that the small businesses are facing, but we are at the city, we're working to assist them and work with those businesses to make sure that they survive and that they come back with really innovative programs like our open restaurants programs, by the way, which we have now 10,000 businesses participating in the city, and other innovative things we've doing to connect them to financing and to connect them to other opportunities around the city and in the private sector. Our small businesses are resilient. They're doing whatever they can, and we're a government here. We're here to help them to accomplish, meet their dreams and come out of this mess that we are in right now, because it particularly is damaging, particularly to our minority and women-owned businesses.
Now, Commissioner, as I had just mentioned, this is obviously disproportionately impacting Black businesses. Again, they are twice as likely compared to their white counterparts to close. I'm wondering if you can also share just a little bit what we are seeing here in the city and how the pandemic is harming Black businesses in particular.
Well, we already knew that Black businesses were suffering before the pandemic. We've launched our BNYC Black Entrepreneurship Program back in September of last year to really address this issue. Black New Yorkers make up 22% of the population, while only 2% of the businesses in New York City. And that's a disproportionately, a number there that really is driving the work that we're doing at SBS. So our businesses are struggling more. It's harder to get financing from banks. They're twice as likely to close, as you said, during the pandemic. And so we've launched this program, BNYC, really to address that issue. That program is there to help them with all the things that they need in order to survive, to provide the equitable access that they need, to strengthen connections within their networks and bring them to new networks so that they can actually sell and upsell and have more opportunity, and really talk about how to connect them to finance. And I think, financing is a critical piece and which a lot of our Black businesses are struggling with right now. And as I mentioned before, less than 12% actually got what they needed from the PPP program. So this is a critical time for our Black-owned businesses, and that's why we created this, program. It is a model across the nation. There's no other like it. It's one of a kind, and we're certainly going to push it forward to make sure that these businesses do get the support that they need.
Commissioner, we talk a lot on this show essentially about how the pandemic has been disproportionately harming Black and Brown communities. And we know that there was challenges even before the pandemic even happened. And the pandemic didn't really start these disparities. It really only deepened them and in some cases exposed them. So I'm wondering if you can explain what challenges are going to be had by some of these small businesses, these Black-owned small businesses in particular, going forward, especially as the pandemic has only worsened these disparities that they were already struggling with prior to the pandemic.
Yeah, and that is so important. And as we've launched this report lately called Advancing Black Entrepreneurship, we sort of talk about this particular issue and challenges that our small businesses, particularly our Black businesses, are facing. And so, three areas really is money, mentorship, money, mentorship, and making sure that they have the opportunity to connect to finance and connect to mentors, right? Because that's a main thing. They don't have mentors, and we want to make sure that we do that. So we've sort of enlisted three major corporations to help us with this initiative. And which will help us, I think, get to where we need to go. And so we've asked and reached out to Ernst & Young, who is going to provide a number of suite services for these businesses, free of charge to them, to give them the resources that they need. Goldman Sachs is working with us with the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. They're going to be helping us to connect these businesses to financing and business education. And also MasterCard to help us to close the digital divide, which a lot of these businesses talked about. They don't have the opportunity to sell online or have the ability to, operate really in this new environment. And so, we're partnering with these big firms in order to help our small businesses. And I think that's going to help address a lot of the challenges that these businesses face.
All right. Well, sadly, we will have to leave that there. Commissioner Jonnel, Doris, Commissioner of the New York City Department of Small Business Services. Thanks for joining us.